That seems to be driving the desire to expand. Can you describe that? I mean, if the facility were up today, how many beds do you expect to fill? How many rooms, I'm sorry?
If 54 beds were put up, we would fill 54 beds.
You would fill that many immediately?
Yes, sir. I personally am on call with a place for mom in the evenings, and I personally handle 15 to 20 referrals from the elderly in the area. Majority of the referrals are coming through for that location. And when I send them and I email them the information, they love it, they come out, they see it. There are things they love about the quaintness of the building, but when it comes down to it, they don't want their mom, their dad, their spouse. We have a lot of people who place their spouses. They would like them to have a private room. A husband would like to visit his wife in private. He doesn't want to be there in a room with a shared. I think that's the biggest thing I'm hearing. A Place for Mom is one of the larger referral sources. We also use caring.com. They're here, I'm hearing a lot of, we love your Bethlehem location. Can you not get us privates? People are going elsewhere because you don't have the privates.
So you feel the demand is driven by the location?
I feel the location and I feel people want the privates.
Back to one of the issues we touched on about ambulances or noise or whatever. How many complaints have you fielded over the last couple of years in that regard?
I think when we originally opened, we may have gotten like 2 to 3 complaints. I have not gotten any recent complaints on that. So, you know, we've been working with the neighbors. I know the one time there was a question about the fire trucks when they came, and that unfortunately I couldn't control. But we've been very diligent about making our noise down, making sure that the lights are not going into anyone's home. We've been trying to be very good neighbors.
As you say, you work with the neighbors. Can you just describe briefly how neighbors would access you with an issue to resolve, be it that or something else? Oh,
well, my cell phone is everywhere. So 972-8888, if you're looking for a caregiver, anything, you find me.
I'm saying that a neighbor who lives there has an issue.
Okay, if they can't access me, they would call our staff who is on call. There's someone on call 24/7. I have staff in the building at all times. If it's an urgent item, they will text me and I will immediately call the person back. Megan, who's the administrator, is also on call. She has a group with Gabby, Liz, an LPN. They're all there to address the needs right away. Our goal is, I know one neighbor called one evening and said a resident's light was glaring into their room. We immediately went off, we dimmed the light for the resident, got him a night light, and everything was okay.
Thank you. Questions from members of the board?
In your other facilities, what is the occupancy rate for your single rooms?
At Saucon Valley Manor and Whitehall Manor, well, at Whitehall Manor I have zero availability in private rooms. At Saucon Valley Manor, I have availability in one of the newer buildings for a private room, not the existing for personal care.
So what's the percentage?
At Saucon, in the SVM2, I have 4 open rooms.
Out of how many?
We're licensed at, I think we're licensed at 260, but a lot are private, so it's like 200 and close to 240.
You mentioned you have currently 57 residents.
Yes, sir.
So that would be 17 beds that are open at this point in time?
Yes, sir.
Are all the 17 that are open in shared rooms, or are there any openings you do have a few private rooms there, don't you?
Very minimal, because we had to take one area and make that into a beauty salon for the residents, so they had a place to get their hair done. So that took 1 room. But all of my openings are in the suites that are shared, and I have a wait list of people existing living there who are on a list to get a private.
Would they be the first option then to go into the privates?
They would be the first. Our existing residents would be the first, and then the outside.
How would you plan to fill the existing beds that are there? If you're having a problem with filling the twin suites or the shared suites, and those people are on the waiting list to go into the private rooms, do you plan to refill those shared suites then?
Yes, sir. What happens also is when someone's in a private, say they have the cash outlay to be in a private month to month for, say, a 2 to 3 year period, at which point we will work with them and then we'll reduce their rate and they can then move into the shared area. Once someone is comfortable with their caregivers and their location and the good care we give and our food, they're very happy at that time to then go from a private into a shared. It's a very hard marketing thing to do to say to someone, oh, we're gonna put you in a suite. And that, they'd even agreed to that, but the bathroom issue is also a concern. Even though the ones who need assistance, we do that. So it is very, it's very easy to take an existing resident who is paying private, and when their funds are running a little bit less, we work with them and we'll give them a share. It's a little bit harder getting the new person in, who they do need the private.
If this were approved and built tomorrow, how many beds would you fill tomorrow?
Well, when you have 54 beds, you have to put it out towards 6 months. That's how I ratio it out, 6 months.
But then all 54 would be filled.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
May I follow up with just one question, please? So to you, when you were designing, Bethlehem Manor was being designed, and at the time you opened it, did you anticipate the level of demand that you've experienced for private rooms?
No.
Is that a trend that you've seen in all of your facilities? That is, the increase in demand for private rooms?
I'm seeing an increase in the caregivers going online to look at rooms, and I'm seeing that we get more viewership online of the private rooms than we do of the shared. And that's an increase we're seeing, and from speaking to Place for Mom, it's like a national thing, it's not just us.
And I think you touched on, you may have touched on this, but you were answering a question, and I'm not sure how clearly it came across.
I'm sorry.
Let's take Saucon Valley Manor as an example. You have a lot of shared rooms there, don't you?
Anything that's shared is filled, but the privates are the first to go.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and when you started these facilities, did you have were they predominantly shared rooms with all the other facilities, all of your facilities?
Yes, absolutely. And then as you evolve, people want different things, and you have to work with what the residents want.
And would you say that the trend that you've experienced in personal care is similar to the trend that we see in hospitals, which are moving away from the shared rooms and into private rooms?
Yes, I see a huge demand for private rooms and private bathrooms.
Sorry to interrupt.
I do have one follow-up question. Do you have any plans for doing an adult daycare?
No, we currently do not. We have the adult daycare at Whitehall and Saucon, and when Parkland opens, we're putting one there. We have no plans for an adult daycare.
Can I assume that if an adult daycare existed, that the vehicular traffic would increase with people being dropped off and picked up?
Well, actually, I can tell you from experience at Whitehall and Saucon, it's a wide array. We have people that we're picking up in our vans. So we range from, on a slower day, 4 people. On the busiest day, we never exceed 8 or 9. We try and schedule, because it's not a daycare usage every day. It's up, I want to go out and get my things done. Can I drop mom off? Oh, I want to go do, so they book 2-3 weeks at a time. Our drivers who go on other appointments do pick up numerous of them, but the ones that have families, that's maybe 1 or 2 vehicles.
But I am correct that that is not in the plans for Bethlehem now?
It is not in the plans for Bethlehem.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from the members of the board?
Yes. Hi. I just was wondering, you mentioned that you try to be a good neighbor, and how are you doing that?
For example, we had our picnic in June, and we asked our staff to go in and invite the neighbors to come. Our doors are always open to our neighbors. I know when we first opened, numerous neighbors came to see, and we asked them to join us for food and drink and camaraderie. And if there's ever a loud noise or anything disturbing, please tell us. We'll correct it right away. Or if there's something that, like I said, if the light is glaring, so we want to work with our neighbors.
Thank you.
Was it ever considered to, I'm going to say, renovate your existing space and convert some of those shared rooms into private rooms? I know that you have 3 in your shared rooms. If you convert them to 2, like Jim was saying, where's the demand so high that you need?
I'm not an architect, so I'm not going to answer that, but as a marketer, if I could have converted every single room into a private, I would have done it with a private bathroom. But unfortunately, I'm limited by what we have space-wise, and the state regulates us in how much space we need for each room. So, it just wasn't feasible.
Anything else from members of the board?
I just want to clarify something. The first witness said that if you build the addition the way it's shown on the plan, the interior entrance that's next to the parking lot could be used for deliveries off of Kenmore,
Okay.
okay? If the board said make all the deliveries off of Kenmore, that becomes feasible?
Yes,
Okay.
we would still continue to do our resident pickups where there's a covered awning.
Right.
So when they go to appointments, I don't want them getting wet or cold or anything, but pickups are not an issue in delivery.
Yeah, I mean more like the food trucks or something.
Correct.
Those could all come in there, okay?
Yes.
And then just one other question. I think there, Mr. Pfeiffer had asked, while it was not a condition of your approval, I think the plan had originally been to put a fence near the front. Is that feasible or not?
It's feasible, but then also you have to think of the elderly people who are sitting out when we only get them really out for 4 or 5 months of the season to look at a fence, you know.
Where do they go then? Where do the elderly?
When we bring them out, we like to get them out as much as we can, and they really enjoy sitting, and, you know, we could do ice cream time or different things, and just being outside and visiting with family, and it's a nice homey environment. We're in a you know, a neighborhood, and to take a fence and put it there, and, you know, you're 95 years old and you're looking at a fence, you know, it's just not as attractive. You know, we've tried to keep things as a coverage, we have their own fencing for our residents, so there's no safety issues, and we've done all that, but I think it's nice for them to look out.
Mr. Pfeiffer, you had a couple of clarifications from the last witness. Did you have anything? Mrs. Attia?
If you could just help me understand, where do deliveries, both for products and for ambulance drop-off and pickup, currently occur?
For the ambulance drop-off and pickup, they usually occur right in the front where the awning is. So first the police will come, that's the normal protocol when they come, and then the ambulance, they go into the awning, they come in through the front, whether they're going up or down, and they're directed that way. We are not having a significant number of deliveries. We do have our vans that we will bring either items also to other facilities, but when we are having, say, a larger delivery, we keep a lot of items on stock as we're required. We're required to keep 72 hours of food and water online, but I try and keep up to a week to 10 days in case of an emergency. So if there ever is, we have everything we need for our residents. But when the deliveries are coming, they are coming to the front. I know that there's one delivery person who does come in the back parking lot, and I think he delivers stuff for our maintenance person, and he comes in through the back door. And then there's also the side by where our dining is right now, where there's an outside area for the residents.
And just for the clarification of the board, what street is that they're accessing when they do that side delivery?
That's only one time every 2 weeks. I don't know what's the Genius Street? Okay, that's it. Otherwise, they go to the back and to the front.
The answer is Paul Avenue, if you didn't hear.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just have one last question. With 54 additional beds, are you going to be required to have additional trash pickups?
You mean for Shrin? And we can, yes, probably we'll add one more trash pickup. Right now at Saucon Valley Manor, we added a Saucon Valley Manor 3, and we have not added an additional trash pickup. I think it just varies based on season, also sickness and what you need. So it could be at some point, but not always. It really varies, because if it's big enough and you keep it covered, and you don't always need another pickup.
Thank you.
Okay,